Produced by the Cleveland Sound Radio Network. Here is the This Is Awesome Wrestling Show, hosted by Glenn Moore and Steve Guy.
Episode number 99 and a third. This is Awesome Wrestling Show. I'm your host, Glenn Moore, and Steve Guy, not in studio, not in the state of Ohio, not even a part of the show this week. He is in Florida, living it up on the beach in South Beach. So, figured I would bring back a former guest of the show, and then bring in a new voice of the show. The two guys from A Miserable Cleveland podcast. We have Ryan and Greg. And Ryan, you were on the show way back in January for our entrance theme show.
That's right.
So you were a part of.
I was.
And Greg, you are a first timer on the show.
This is. Do I talk into this?
Yeah.
Is this how this works?
You're
Okay, good.
You're a long-time listener, first-time
Long-time
guest
listener, first-time guest. Yeah.
on the show.
Long-time, first time.
He's practiced.
Yeah.
So we have a few topics to talk about today. We're going to talk about PWI, their top 500, give our takes around the list. Also, Jeff Hardy wrestles a kangaroo. That is not a Onion story. Cody Rhodes to possibly the TNA, and how he's not allowed to use the Rhodes name if he does go to TNA as of right now. And Del Rio is done with WWE, and Paige is not too far behind. So we're going to talk about that. But first, I want to let you know that our live episode taping of episode 100 will be here in studio in Lakewood, Ohio on the 21st, which is a Wednesday. 7 to 11, we'll be here hanging out. We'll have food, we'll have drinks. We'll have some wrestlers coming in, hanging out as well. So we'll have that on Wednesday the 21st. So we have more information on our Facebook page, our event page. So make sure you RSVP because limited space is going to be for the show. So we'll go out probably after. You guys are going to be coming, right?
I'm
Possibly?
working on it. Yeah, I'd love to.
Possibly.
All right.
My
better.
wife's got something going on that week. It might be tough.
All right, let's get into it, guys. PWI 500. They list their top 500 wrestlers based on just the opponents they faced, wins, losses, storylines, relevance. So it's not just, hey, he's the best wrestler. It's a whole overall shtick of PWI is, that's all those factors go into it. So number one is Roman Reigns. And a lot of people are upset. A lot of people are very upset that like AJ Styles is at number one, or Seth Rollins, a real wrestler. And now I would agree to that testament. I'm sure it's going to bring up a hot debate here in studio. Is, okay, Reigns won at WrestleMania, won the title. He has beaten Brock Lesnar, Triple H. He's beaten some good opponents, kayfabe-wise. And, okay, he is number one. He is the most relevant guy in WWE right now, and that's just the way it is. But I agree, he's not the best wrestler, but he is still up there. He's number one. He deserves it, and hey, kudos to him for winning a fictitious poll, basically.
All right, so now that we got all that bullshit out of the way,
Oh boy.
First off, you cannot tell me that Roman Reigns being number one isn't a work.
This
is my conspiracy theory. I alluded to it before we started recording.
And now, disclaimer: he doesn't win anything. He doesn't gain anything from this.
No, he does not. Roman Reigns gains nothing from it.
Who gains from this?
PWI
gains.
Oh, it's all about
It's nobody. It's nobody reads wrestling magazines anymore. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this guy that all the smart. We'll just say smarks. Why not? This is a wrestling show.
Yeah.
All the smarks hate this guy. We're going to put him on the cover. We're going to tell you that he's number one. And then we're going to say half of you are going to hate us for this. So what they're doing is they're doing it's a cheap ploy. It's a work.
It's clickbait.
It's them saying, this is how we can get people to buy our magazine.
They're playing the game.
They're clickbait. It's
clickbait.
Right. Yeah.
There you go.
It's basically, it's going to... I think people would talk about this more if it's Roman Reigns. They're right. It says on the cover, half of you will hate this.
Yeah.
And if they put AJ Styles, okay, they'll be like, oh, yeah, he deserves it.
That's about right.
But they're not going to pay attention to it or tweet about it or, hey, people love to tweet negative stuff and they love to react to negative stuff. And, hey, putting Reigns on the cover gets people to buy the magazine, maybe, to check out the list, or even it brings awareness to the list.
It's mind-blowing to me that he still gets this kind of reaction, whether it's good or bad, that it still causes such a nonstop debate.
Here's the problem.
Because he's not the best wrestler.
No.
Anybody knows that. He's terrible on the mic.
He really is.
But, like, for some reason, he just keeps getting pushed out there because of his look. I would imagine it has a lot to do with his look and his philanthropy things. Stuff
Vince
like that.
loves his Samoans, man.
It's the powers that the machine is behind Roman Reigns, and he is quote unquote the man.
Yeah,
Cena's gone for a while. He's gonna be part-time now, so Styles is great in the ring, but he is not a guy the machine's gonna get behind. Reigns is being groomed as the next John Cena. Will it work? Who knows? Time will tell. But as a face, it's not working out. But then again, hey, he has the influence. People talk about him. It could be negative. People still talking about him. Success. He's beaten some opponents, kayfabe-wise. His ability, not the best. But all the rest of the the criteria for this list, he fits.
Okay. Can you do you have the list in front of you by any chance?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Name from 2 to 10 for me.
Well, okay, here we go. I have the alphabetical list.
Okay, well then never mind.
Well, here we go.
Essentially,
it takes up like 20 pages. Here we go.
Oh, well, okay.
So you're going what, 2 to what?
2 to 10.
All right, so number 2 is
it's Okada, isn't it?
Okada's
okay.
number 2.
And then Finn is number 3.
Okay.
Styles 4. Jay Lethal 5. Kevin Owens 6. Nakamura 7. Rollins 8. Ambrose 9, and Cena 10.
Okay. So, with the exception of the number 1 pick,
Okay.
every other person, with the exception of maybe Ambrose,
Thank you.
every other person on that list absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, deserves to be in that top 10.
In the top 10.
So-
Wrestling.
Yeah.
When you're working off of something,
Well,
when you're looking at
are we talking
kayfabe,
wrestling? Strictly wrestling? Because Cena does not have to be on the list if it's strictly wrestling. I don't think. Top 10?
I don't know the last time I watched a Cena match that I wasn't happy with. I mean, he's annoying to me, but
His matches are always...
his matches are great.
Yeah.
Put him
I
in the ring with good people, and he does great matches.
But is a guy like Samoa Joe a better wrestler than John Cena?
Sure,
A guy like
but
Ricochet, maybe?
okay. Well, then
Samoa Joe will have his day. So will Ricochet, for that matter.
let me pose this to you then. If John Cena shouldn't be on this list, why should AJ Styles be on this list? Because AJ Styles lost to John Cena a whole bunch.
Well, I know. But I'm saying
That's my
Styles
point.
is a better wrestler than Cena.
Okay.
He had a lot of success in Japan before. And this list is from July of 2015 to July of 2016. So
Okay.
it's not like it's the year that's right now.
No, I get that. Yeah.
So we're counting all the Japan stuff that Styles did, which he killed it in Japan.
He did. He was
So
fantastic.
we're counting that too, not just WWE.
Oh, Styles?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But my point is simply find a bad John Cena match in the last 12 months.
No, I say he's great, but is he
Well,
as a wrestler?
But that's my
top
point.
10?
That's why this their reasoning for putting Roman Reigns as number 1, you can't chalk up to anything more than people are going to buy this magazine because they're pissed off and they're going to
Yeah.
want to see what we want
Or
or
they're
what
going
we
to tweet
say.
about it, or going to look for
Yeah,
it.
that's exactly it.
They're going to hunt down this list
Well,
because
the reasoning is it's used in a way that makes it that look like that.
Sure.
But the reasoning makes sense because he has been at that. He has been up there. He has had those marquee matches. He is the guy they're pushing. Like it is true what they're saying, but the reason they're saying it is completely
Okay, here's a bad analogy that we're going to see if works. Okay. Who's the best character in the Die Hard franchise?
the cop, obviously.
I would argue that Hans Gruber
Hans Gruber.
is the best character in the
Okay.
Die Hard franchise.
Sure.
But he was the one who had to lose.
Right.
And the other guy was the guy that had to win.
Right.
So you said that John McClane originally was the best guy because he's the hero. Somebody else decided that he's the hero, so he has to be the one who wins. So he's the best guy in the Die Hard movies?
No, not necessarily. John McClane is the one that killed the most people, and
We're not
was
talking about
put
that.
against the most odds, and all those different categories.
But somebody
That's why they
wrote
have
that he
Reigns up
had
there.
to do that.
That's why they have Reigns up there. That's why they have Cena up there. Because
But-
Cena wrestles in.
But you're ranking off of fiction. Is my point. Like you
So,
can't
right.
you can't rank off of fiction. That's
I would
not how
say
it works.
It's like 80% fiction and then 20% real life ability.
Okay. So 80% of it we can say Roman Reigns has, and 20%. I mean, he's
Questionable.
It's questionable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you're right. If you put AJ Styles up there, no one really cares. It's a golf clap for AJ Styles.
Yeah.
Put Reigns up there, it gets a negative response. People are tuned into PWI. Hey, if Styles is number one, are we talking about it right now? Probably not. It's not going to be a part of the show because it's
No, but if Okada was number one, you might talk about it.
Yeah.
Because you're like, you have the general wrestling fan saying that buys the magazine still, like, who's Okada?
Exactly.
I mean, you probably know. Who it is,
Right.
but,
yeah.
but it's like, wait a second. Okada's better than all my favorite wrestlers in the WWE.
Yeah. Then why isn't he in WWE? Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So switching over to maybe some of the unknowns.
Sure.
And here in Cleveland, AIW, which is a heavy presence on the show, 30 of the 500 have competed here in Cleveland this year only.
That's impressive.
That's awesome.
And he has 5 of the top 100. You have Michael Elgin, EC3, Zack Sabre Jr., Pentagon Jr., and Ray Rowe.
Let's point out how awesome is it that friend of the show, EC3, 20, right? He was number 20 on the list?
Yes,
Yeah.
number 20. Yeah, top
There
20.
you go.
Multiple time with
Cleveland
AIW.
boy.
Yeah, and these guys, Pentagon Jr. came here once in Cleveland, but the rest of these guys have been multiple times competing here at AIW. And then you have like a cluster of in the hundreds. Rockstar Spud was here, Gargano, Gargano Alexander will be on Raw for the cruiserweight.
Yeah.
Tyson Dukes, Matt Cross, Alex Shelley, Cole Cabana, DJ Z, Brian Myers, Tommy End. A lot of great wrestlers have competed here. And then you have BJ Whitmer, Sanjay Dutt, Facade, very high on the list, too.
I was kind of surprised by
Me
that.
too.
Yeah.
Matt Riddle, who will be here Friday for
Yeah.
AIW, and Grado. And then you have Ethan Page in the 300s, Flamita, Big Damo, Colin Delaney, Eddie Kingston, Gregory Iron, and Tracy Williams.
I was kind of bummed how low Eddie Kingston was. I kind of would have thought he would have been a little bit higher.
I'm bummed how low Tracy Williams is.
Yeah, okay.
A guy that was featured by WWE.com for Evolve, very low on the list. And then you have in the bottom portion, the last 100 of these guys, Brent Banks was 440, who competed here as a replacement with Cheech earlier in the year. And then you have Space Monkey, who made a debut in the list. I think it was here last year on the list. But Space Monkey is on the list at 485. Then we have our boy, Dick Justice, at 430. Dick Justice, everybody.
Good for him, man.
You do it, man. He was in it. They quoted him, in that little quote box as a guy that was in the storyline with Missy Hyatt.
Yep.
And Colonel Robert Parker and Jock Sampson. But yeah, 430 for Dick Justice.
How weird is it that Jock Sampson didn't make the list
That's weird, too.
and Dick Justice did?
They can use this, man. This could be something that can rekindle that fight.
I also want to point out the crime that is the fact that the Duke did not make
Oh, the
the
Duke.
PWI 500.
Duke is a
I am an unabashed Duke mark. Yeah, the Duke should have been on there somewhere. He should have been higher than Dick Justice.
Yeah. Ethan Page, though, was not happy about his ranking.
He should have been. He doesn't deserve to be in the 300.
He was a guy that had a very good year. I think he was ranked higher last year. Had a fairly decent year. Evolve. He lost some weight. Successful here in AIW. Has his own promotion in Canada. Very successful. But he was not. He tweeted at PWI saying, my wife is not happy about my ranking. So 307. Grado is ahead of him. Grado 293. I mean, he is relevant. He'll be here in Cleveland on Friday as well. So a lot of great wrestlers have come through Cleveland. It's very cool to see these guys in person. So 30 of the top 500 here in Cleveland. Any final thoughts on the 500 list? Let's go to you.
Miz.
Right.
It's 22.
Yeah, Miz.
Soft
Really?
wrestling.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's 22.
IC champ.
No, there's I think the Miz and Dolph were pretty close. Dolph is 36. Miz is 22.
I was kind of
Cleveland
surprised
boys,
to
man.
see. I love Dolph. I think Dolph. I met him last year. He's one of my favorite guys to watch. I was kind of surprised they had him ranked as high as they did.
But Rusev, number 34.
Yeah.
I was just about to say that.
Yeah.
My boy Rusev, 34. Not happy about that. I think he deserved a little bit better than a number, but
Ryback is 31.
that's why. Because
that's a weird one.
Hey, that's why I can't trust lists, I guess.
Yeah, so let us know. Tweet at us at TIA Wrestling. Let us know who your surprises were or if someone was ranked higher than you thought. But a lot of great wrestlers, a lot of guys on this list that I haven't heard of, and be able to read a little capsule about them and be interested in them and to see more about these guys is very cool. So PWI 500, go check it out, their magazine, and you can find the list online as well. All right, two guys on the list that are mainstays here in Cleveland, well, for the near future only, Johnny Gargano and Cedric Alexander, AIW mainstays here, especially Gargano, have his last match here in Cleveland, end of the month, AIWrestling.com for tickets. A little tip about Gargano, who will be going on Raw for the Cruiserweight. There was a battle between NXT and SmackDown and Raw writers on where Gargano was going to be. This is a little exclusive here for you folks.
That's awesome.
Now, Triple H wanted to keep Gargano and Tommaso in NXT to finish out, obviously Tommaso and Gargano do the little feud thing and possibly, spoiler alert, Tommaso turn on Gargano. Mm-hmm. Now, Ryan Ward, who is head SmackDown writer, wanted Gargano and Tommaso to be a legit SmackDown tag team every Tuesday night, be part of the tag team division there. And then there obviously was Raw, the Cruiserweight division. So obviously Raw wins, and Gargano will be on the Cruiserweight little portion of the show. So we almost saw Gargano and Tommaso being a legit tag team. They were so impressed with these two guys. Not saying it could happen in the future, but as of right now, there was a lot of pulling by Ryan Ward, Clevelander here.
Yes.
Trying to get a fellow Clevelander on SmackDown to be featured as part of the tag team. And then NXT as well. So I'm sure we'll probably see Gargano on NXT still, and then we'll see him go on Raw, mixing in with the Cruiserweight portion of the show.
It'll be interesting to see how they work the Cruiserweights in.
Yeah, if that's going to be storyline or just matches, featured matches, because it's going to take another portion of time to fit these new guys in.
That's okay.
Yeah, they have,
but then take something out. Well, I agree, but
it takes away story time from a bigger story. Sure, absolutely.
Yeah. So,
and they have confirmed there's going to be a belt, right? Wouldn't there kind of have to be?
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, there's a trophy.
It's kind of a bummer though. I kind of wish they would have been on SmackDown because
that would be
Ward's a good
nice.
dude.
Yeah,
but I think that SmackDown brand needs another tag team or two.
Yeah.
So their tag team is
you have Heath Slater and Rhino in the final. That's
I get
right.
Yeah, but they got American Alpha too. So
I don't want to get into it, but like I was looking at the brackets for it, and it's like real tag team, beat.
Yeah.
Had bangers, and it was like, come on, like this is what's happening right now.
But you never know because these guys, Tommaso and Gargano could be down the line, go to SmackDown. I mean, it's still open, but as of right now, we almost had Gargano on SmackDown with Tommaso as a tag team. Right now, we'll see Gargano on Raw. So that's gonna be cool to see, though. Seeing a local Cleveland guy go on Raw for not his WWE debut, because Gargano was on SmackDown way back in the day.
Yeah,
that's a whole different story for another.
Well, good on him, man. Congratulations.
He deserves it, man.
Yeah.
He really does. He's good.
Hell of a worker.
Good stuff.
Switching gears to TNA now. TNA portion of the show, which rarely happens on the show, but we have some new tidbits for you. Jeff Hardy squares off against a kangaroo, which is a part of TNA's Delete or Decay. And there's not much to talk about. There is a preview video of this, a short clip of Jeff Hardy and the kangaroo locking up. Again, this will be part of TNA's Delete or Decay. Pro Wrestling Sheet, Ryan Stanton, good friend of the show, posted it. He had the exclusive. Now, I don't really want to talk about the kangaroo and Jeff Hardy wrestling because we don't know what happens or how it goes down.
Right.
But I hear the kangaroo refused to put him over.
So he's Hulk Hogan clause. How are the Hardys here in 2016, staying relevant? Jeff Hardy obviously is a more popular of the two, but Broken Matt Hardy,
God, I don't know anymore.
Wins me over, man.
I feel like Matt is now more of a popular brand than Jeff is. I think Jeff was more popular during the Hardy Boys era, and his time in TNA because it was like cool. But I think that
was it though.
Well, not for you because you're beyond cool, but
Yeah, I know.
but for
Too
the
cool for
the
school.
general wrestling fan, it was ahead of its time, I guess. I don't know, whatever. But now it feels like everywhere you look, it's Matt. You don't see Jeff.
Yeah.
I mean, I think this is like a thing for them to pull Jeff and say, "Hey, look, Jeff is just as crazy as Matt."
But if Matt wasn't killing it with the broken Matt Hardy gimmick, if he didn't have Jeff as
Yeah.
the other half of this storyline, would broken Matt Hardy be as effective or as would we be eager to watch as much if he was competing against a random nobody in TNA?
Tyrus.
Yeah, Tyrus. Would we care as much? Probably not. But he's competing at Hardy versus Hardy. We've seen it before in WWE. They've done this storyline. This is a different twist. You have, drones footage. You have them at their house when
It's
they're
beautiful.
It's unique.
It's artwork,
different.
is what it is.
It's different. We saw WWE kind of steal the idea with the Wyatts and the New Day. The whole shindig with
Landed
that.
a thud.
Okay. Look, all TNA is doing is ripping off Lucha Underground.
Oh boy,
That's
Here
all
we
it
go.
is. All the broken Matt
What
Hardy
is it?
stuff.
What is it? Lucha? What is it? I don't know. I mean,
I don't get that
never
station
heard of
either.
it. Never
Yeah.
heard of it.
But the whole vignette-based, even vignette-based matches, that's what Lucha Underground is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And all TNA is doing is going, we can do that too.
Yeah.
And the good thing for them, unfortunately, is they're on the TV Guide channel. So everybody's got it. So they instantly have more eyes on it. Well, you would think until you look at the rating.
Oh, I think that has more to do with the Hardy name.
No.
I think so.
No.
Than it does with TNA.
I think it.
No.
I think it is a Hardy name.
I think it's a Hardy name for
It's
sure.
more of a
because
Hardy
I
name
had,
than TNA.
the first time I saw it, I had no clue because I don't pay attention to TNA whatsoever.
Right.
And the first time I heard it, I thought it was Matt Hardy just doing something just to do something. Like,
Right.
I thought it was just like him shooting with his brother at home just for
Sure.
fun. And then it was connected to TNA. I was like, oh, it's part of TNA. Okay, whatever. Doesn't make me watch TNA anymore or anything like that.
But see, okay, well then let's take this in a different direction. Is TNA potentially hurting themselves more than helping by doing these kinds of things?
I think TNA's philosophy is trying to catch lightning in a bottle.
Right.
Yes.
And obviously they're going to they got a spike in numbers for the deletion episode, was off
Okay.
the charts compared to other episodes. So they're trying, obviously everybody's not going to come back and watch every week. They're trying to grab maybe 10, 50% of those new watchers to watch every week, which they kind of are. It's been, dipping and soaring a little bit, but I think it's, like I said, catching lightning in a bottle. They're going to milk it as much as they can, do these little stunts with a kangaroo and these zoo animals or whatever they're going to be doing, and milk it and try to gain as much watchers as they can in a short amount of time.
But what I'm getting at, and I probably should have been a little bit more clear when I tried to make this point originally. They're not making people watch their TV show.
Well,
They're not.
Well, as long as they're tuning in, that's all they care about.
No,
They're not.
They're
They're
putting
watching
this-
the vignettes.
yeah, not even that. They're putting the full thing up on YouTube the
Yeah.
next day.
Yeah.
Which, let me tell you, I don't watch anything live, and I DVR everything, and I'm still watching those final deletion clips on YouTube the next day.
Yeah, me too. And they're even up as it's like Raw,
Exactly.
right up
So
as it happens.
So they're not helping themselves. That's kind of where I'm going with this.
What's
They're-
helping them is what we're going to talk about, but it's the. I don't want to
What? Say it.
talk
What?
about the people that are coming in. That's
But-
what's going to help them.
Okay.
is getting those people.
So these
that
people
are getting
coming in.
discarded and bringing them in.
Okay. What
and
he's
solid
So,
workers.
so basically, what you're saying is the Hardy deletion thing is like the worm.
catalyst.
It's the worm on the hook, and you have these people. They're sniffing sniffing a little bit. But then the guys like Cody Rhodes, like a Damian Sandow,
Yeah.
are going to make people grab on and to watch.
Ryback, who's probably coming too. I
okay.
imagine.
Did Aaron Rex or Aaron Stevens
yeah.
or
Damian Sandow.
Damian Sandow or whatever you want to call him, did he help with the ratings at all? And
I don't think
I
so.
love that guy. I think he's fantastic.
I mean,
I think a lot of people watched him debut.
I was just explaining his point. I don't really
Okay.
agree because I think TNA is always going to be where they're at now. They're not going to improve, no matter who they get, what cast offs they get from WWE.
Right.
they're not going to compete with WWE on the same scale. So,
and they did make a great move in the last couple weeks, where now I don't think they've officially stated it yet, but Dixie is gone.
Yeah, she's gone.
She gone. But then you put But then you put Billy Corgan in charge, and if you know anything about Billy Corgan and the way that he works with people, I don't know how this company's going to still be open.
He's not going to have a roster.
He's going
to get the whole different roster, but then 20 years down the road, he'll make up with the current roster, and he'll invite him.
Cody Runnels is a junkie, and I don't want to deal with him anymore. Wait, what?
20 years later, though, everything will be
20 years later, they're going to do a TNA reunion. It'll be great.
But yeah, I mean, money buys you power. Money gives you power for TNA, bailing him out of not being able to skip a pay-per-view, because if it wasn't for him, there would have been no pay-per-view.
Oh, yeah. And that's great. But do you think he's seeing any return on his investment?
No, he's following it. This is just a childhood thing for him, I'm sure.
That's stupid.
Yeah.
And he picked the wrong one to follow.
Yeah, but he's involved. I mean, it's not like, I guess everything I read about it is that it turned the locker room upside down, that everybody was in better spirits because...
Sure, they got paid on time.
Well, sure.
Yeah.
But regardless, whatever the case may be.
I just...
Can I ask this? I had a question about it real quick. Since I don't watch really TNA or anything, I see it like you do. I see it on YouTube the next day. I'll watch, whatever. Has Matt or Jeff Hardy actually wrestled in a TNA ring since?
As a tag team, I believe, but not against each other.
Well, and I thought it was they wrestled as a tag team, and one of them wouldn't. One of them wouldn't wrestle.
Yeah.
So it was basically, I want to say it was Jeff that wouldn't wrestle. So Matt did the match and Jeff was outside.
I think it reversed too, because Jeff would wrestle.
Maybe that's what it was.
But they wrestled before the deletion. Mm-hmm. That they had a pretty good match, anything goes kind of match where we saw, Jeff be put through a table. Jeff won, I believe.
He did.
No, did Matt win?
The one before deletion, I thought Jeff won.
Okay, yeah, and then there was deletion where Matt won.
Yeah.
So I mean, they haven't wrestled one-on-one, together since then.
I just meant have they been?
Oh yeah, they've wrestled. They have wrestled in a TNA ring, just not against each other.
Okay.
Yes.
Because I don't know. That's
neither does anybody else. It's okay. I always want TNA to succeed, but then I hear Jeff Hardy's going to wrestle a kangaroo, and I just say, what the hell? What are you doing? Then again, is that any better than Colonel Sanders wrestling a guy in a chicken suit?
That's true. But then again, KFC is paying a lot of money for
a commercial, though.
Sure.
They're paying a lot of money. Is TNA making a lot of money off deletion? I mean, they're getting some viewers.
I can't believe that Vince okayed them wrestling like that. The Intercontinental Champion was beat by Dolph Ziggler
and a Colonel
in a commercial.
There's going to be more. There's going to be more for the Royal Rumble.
But I mean, okay, so you brought up Cody Rhodes.
Yeah. So Cody Rhodes reportedly is going to be going to TNA, possibly Ring of Honor as well. I think they can. He wants to do both.
Yeah.
So either one. The fact is that Cody Rhodes cannot use the Cody Rhodes name if he does, because of the WWE owns that name. Now here's a good discussion, because WWE made Cody Rhodes, but that Rhodes name was way built before WWE.
Sure, yeah.
Dusty Rhodes made the Rhodes name.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. I'm sure there's going to be something worked out. They're trying to work something out where Cody can use Cody Rhodes. It could be a buyout. They're going to let him go out of the contract, of the name, whatever. They're going to let, I think they're more bankable on the Stardust name. They want to keep the Stardust name. They want to keep that kind of thing. They're still selling stuff.
No, the Rhodes name is what's the money's behind.
Yeah. I mean,
but I'm saying, but what are they going to get out of having Cody Rhodes' name still? The Rhodes name is great. The Rhodes,
just because of his dad. It doesn't matter what. Cody
I understand
Rhodes
that,
does.
but
it's all Dusty.
But what's the point of having Cody Rhodes?
Because eventually they're going to do something with Dusty's name, and they're going to want to market the living hell out of it, and they're not going to want somebody working for a different company with that name.
Yeah.
There's an example, a book. Cody's writing a book.
Yeah, he's writing a book,
and WWE has let him get his own publisher and everything. He's doing it on his own.
It's still Dustin too.
Yeah.
Dustin ever decided to somehow he wanted to beat Dustin Rhodes again, they would want that to happen instead of
They'll never let that happen. But yeah,
Oh, I think you will.
no, he absolutely won't.
I think I've talked to many people about this. I think his last match he'll take the face paint off and be Dustin Rhodes.
I still wanted them to have a WrestleMania match with Cody and Dustin, and at the end they both wipe the face paint off, and that's it.
That'd be fun.
There you go.
But I think if he goes wherever he goes,
Right.
he could go as himself, as Dustin Runnels, and be just fine. And he's still.
Well, and I think Cody could do the same thing.
Regardless if WWE owns that name or not, it's always going to go with him. Just like it goes with all the other wrestlers who were that person that WWE still owes their name.
Right.
Like it's still, you obviously are still that person.
I have a bigger question involving him. Why exactly would somebody who has such issues with creative direction in a company and management in a company go work for TNA?
Money.
If you really think they're going to give him more money than they would have if he would have stayed with WWE?
It's his push.
It's a matter. Yeah, it's a matter of.
So you're saying he wants to be a big fish in a small pond?
Absolutely.
I mean, I don't think it's that. I think it's more of the freedom. A lot of these guys behind the snes, guys like Ziggler and Miz and Rhodes and a guy like Damien Sandow and Wade Barrett, guys who have left, kind of on their sort of own terms, is they're not happy the way they're being pushed or the way they're being booked. And
they're just part of the machine.
Yeah, the machine's not backing these guys.
Sure.
So they want to go
I
out.
get that.
And there seems to be a renaissance in the indie scene to where, people are going to see Evolve shows and Ring of Honor and New Japan and in California and places like AIW where they'll pay you your fee. You'll come out, make some bank, and wrestle in front of 500 people who are going to appreciate what you do and give you a standing ovation. I think it's more of the aura of going to do that for a couple years, maybe refreshing yourself, like AJ Styles, refreshing, revamping yourself, making a name for yourself, then maybe coming back to WWE.
I would agree with that 100%, but that wasn't my question.
So my
question is, why would you go work for TNA?
It's
because you get that push.
You get that.
He's
push.
not wrestling in front of 500 people.
How many people go see TNA on a weekly basis?
Slightly more than Global Wrestling.
How
or
many,
Global
though?
Force Wrestling. 150 people, 200 people.
What?
In those TNA rings? In that TNA arena?
Unless we're talking about the ones they're papering and they're just letting everybody in for free? Yeah. Okay, then they might have 500 people.
That's what I'm saying. It's just as many as an indie show. It just has a television audience.
They're getting paid. I'm sure they're getting paid a pretty penny to work for TNA, and they can still do the indie scene. They can still do all that indie scene. Plus, they're getting TNA money. I mean, why wouldn't you? And plus, you're going to get a push. You're going to get a microphone. You're going to get. You're going to be highlighted. So why not go to TNA?
Yeah.
If you are a WWE cast-off.
Plus, he'll still be allowed to go do other things.
No,
all the
I
indie
get
scene,
that.
yeah.
I get that too.
Yeah.
But who in there in TNA is he going to benefit from working with?
I mean, it's not about that. I think it's just about.
Doesn't matter.
It's just about getting the money and being featured, man.
See, and
I don't care.
From what he said when he
It's a
left,
solo
it doesn't
thing.
seem it. I don't. That doesn't add up
Because
to
you're
me.
realistic.
It's movie star. It's a solo thing. You want to be the big name on the marquee. That's what
Sure.
you want to be.
No,
It doesn't matter if it's at the Capitol Theater or if it's at Cinemark. You're still the top name on that marquee.
And you control more than you did in WWE.
That's why. If you put me in,
All right, I don't see it the way you guys do.
And you're getting paid to go to a tapings,
but
once a month.
He never seemed like he was about the money.
How do you? Well, you don't know the guy personally, so
You're
you
right.
can't
I don't
say that. So
and
it
No,
always
but
is
he's
about the money.
he's probably not about the money, but he wants to. His dad's legacy will carry him wherever he goes,
without a doubt.
and if he can't be in the top promotion, why not be in the second top promotion?
That's. I would almost put Ring of Honor over.
I would almost.
TNA at this point.
Actually, to be honest, I meant. Well, Ring of Honor doesn't really have a television audience like TNA does, and.
Yeah,
But see, here's the thing: Cody Rhodes could also go to New Japan and probably be a top star in New Japan, but he's choosing not to. He's choosing to stay in the States.
Well, he's just not there yet.
because it's well.
I I look at the mismanagement that company has, and for a guy who left because he was upset with creative and mismanagement in the number one company in the world, to take a step down and to work for a company that has 100 times more problems than that doesn't really make a lot of sense.
Well, I'm sure the contract favors Cody Rhodes to where he can leave. He can he can leave. He can do whatever what he wants. Like I said, he can still do indie scene.
He's not the star of that family, anyways. I mean, he's got a grasp on it.
He is now.
No, his wife will be a way bigger star than he is.
They will benefit. He will benefit greatly off of.
Hey, Brandy.
Not even TNA. You chop TNA away from the equation. He's still going to make bank off the indie scene and be featured everywhere he goes.
I'm all for that. Like,
So-
I think the indie scene is the perfect place for him.
I think TNA offers you
He can do it.
more than X amount of money. I think there is a bar that has to be overtaken if you're Cody Rhodes.
Yeah.
I don't think he's just saying, "Hey, I'll wrestle for $100,000 a year." I'm sure if you pay me this, I'll wrestle for you.
Sure.
If you don't, I'm still do my own thing. So I think there's a lot of factors that we don't know about going to the decision. Not just saying.
And your argument is extremely valid.
Yeah.
But at the point where it doesn't, there's no reason for him not to. That's essentially what it becomes down to.
If he has control, if he getting paid what he wants,
Right.
and he has creative control to do whatever he wants outside of TNA.
Plus, he's already won in life.
And plus, he's going to be doing
his wife.
Evolve.
His wife wins.
So I mean, he's going to be everywhere. But that extra money. I mean, to wrestle once a month for a couple days in Orlando for tapings, for $200,000-$300,000 easy.
Sure.
I mean, why not?
Now that he'll get paid on time,
We'll see.
If
he doesn't, he'll be owed, and he can leave. Probably he doesn't have to wait for any contract. He can leave.
That's true.
He still has New Japan.
Yeah. Well, okay. So here's a quick little thing. Imagine if all the disgruntled guys that we unfortunately we're on a podcast which puts us on the internet, so we are the internet wrestling community.
Okay.
As awful as that term
IWC.
is. Yeah. Imagine if you get Stu Bennett, you get Cody Runnels, you get Nick Nemeth, all these guys into TNA somehow, with somebody who's not afraid to spend money, as however stupidly as Billy Corgan might be spending his money. Could TNA actually make a legit run for it? If these guys get out of their contract?
No, in this day and age, no.
No, you can't.
No.
You have to,
because wrestling isn't as big anymore as it was in the 90s, where two companies can compete, two big rosters, both pulling sixes in TV ratings. Not going to happen. And like I said, that's the fans, man. Fans aren't as rabid as it's PG. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's just not the same as the 90s, man.
It's the league. It's the wrestling. WWE is the wrestling league.
They own it forever
now. And TNA and Ring of Honor and all those other companies are the minor leagues. That's all there is to it.
It's going to be an avenue for up-and-coming guys to showcase their things, and for guys that want to have their own schedule and their own thing. They're veteran guys that could be WWE and getting pushes. They could be WWE still, but
maybe one day somebody will figure it out. But for now,
matter of the fact, everybody's getting paid, everybody's getting money, everybody's working, everybody's doing what they want where they're at. Some
maybe AIW will build themselves up to be the one that compete.
I mean,
in years.
Anything can happen.
Push the Duke.
But I don't think you'll see two companies going head to head, duking it out like
not
Monday
in our
Night War
lifetimes,
style
at
anymore.
least.
That's sad.
Not as what?
It is sad.
Well, and I'm not even
as long
necessarily.
as Vince McMahon's around. That's for sure.
I'm not even necessarily saying Monday Night War style. I just mean, can TNA restore itself to anything more than we've got Jeff Hardy wrestling a goddamn kangaroo?
Sure. I don't think it's a matter of the talent. I think it's social media, YouTube, to where people can watch
branding. Oh my God!
People can watch wrestling anytime, any place where they're at. Back in the 90s, you had 2 channels. Now we have thousands of channels.
Yeah.
Right.
We have the network. Like, people can only take a certain amount of wrestling. It's not just like, hey, 8 o'clock every night, Monday night. I have 2 programs I can switch between. Now it's like, Friday night I can put on, WCW Nitro, or I can put on New Japan stuff. Like, just people aren't watching wrestling as as much anymore because they're thinning it out during the week. So I mean, it is what it is. But interesting to see what Cody Rhodes does do in TNA and how TNA.
Good luck to him.
Yeah.
No, you know what? Screw him. He already won. He's got Brandy. He wins.
Do you think he'll just go full Mr. Sinister when he gets to TNA? That would be great.
The other thing, really quick about, I just want to throw this in really quick about Cody Rhodes.
You gonna talk about how hot his wife is again?
No, I've done that enough. But like, even for however long that Cody Rhodes wrestles, he'll be Cody Rhodes. Right. And regardless of where he goes, he will always be able to wrestle because of his name. Whereas in someone like Sandow or these other guys who are let go and have to kind of fight to get their name back up there or people remember them, he'll always be a Rhodes, and he'll always be able to go off of that name. It makes it a little bit easier for him, I think, compared to anybody else. But I just think that it's just, the genetic. He'll come back. He's going to be back in WWE eventually. There's no way that it ends like this for him.
Yeah. So we'll see how this partakes for TNA and for Cody and for the Hardys for this
kangaroo.
Kangaroo wrestling. It's ridiculous. All right, final segment of the show. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at TA Wrestling. Also, Facebook, our Facebook event for episode 100, or live taping here in studio in Lakewood, Ohio, September 21st. It's a Wednesday. And make sure to check out AIWrestling.com for all AIW events. A show this Friday. It's Bloodsport. You got Dana B. Severin in town. You have Shayna Baszler. You have Matt Riddle. You have Eddie Kingston going to be facing Dana Severin. It's going to be off the hook. Great event. Tickets are very limited, so if you listen to this show either here on a Wednesday night, Thursday, make sure to check it out, AIWrestling.com for tickets, and also for later this month, Johnny Gargano's last AIW match. That show, tickets will be available for that one as well, and that one will be going very, very quickly, too. So let's get into it. Alberto Del Rio, done with WWE. He is currently suspended, but it looks like he's going to be done with WWE after his suspension. I'm sure he's going to be a coveted free agent for, AAA down in Mexico, also Lucha Underground. Indie scene, not so much. Maybe, he can do some PWG, but not really Ring of Honor. I don't think Ring of Honor would pick him up. Evolve, not think he will go to Evolve, but I think he will do the luchador Spanish, scene. Maybe Lucha Underground, wouldn't mind to see him on there. But also his girlfriend, ex-girlfriend, I don't know what they are right now, but Paige, one of my favorites, so dear to my heart. She is possibly done with WWE. She's hurt, and she's not happy. WWE isn't happy with them. They tried splitting them apart, Del Rio and Paige. Allegedly. But like I said, WWE allegedly not happy with Paige. Paige not happy with WWE. She is in a long contract with WWE, so it's not like she can just leave. She has to wait out a few years.
Eesh. So
they're going to have to kind of let her, if she doesn't want to wrestle, let her go. If they do that, they break the contract and say, do whatever you want. She can go to the UK, back home, kill it over there.
Sure.
Make some appearances here in America, but she will be highly coveted on the indie scene. But man, Paige, I love Paige. Loved it when her debut after WrestleMania a couple of years ago. She had a couple Divas runs, as champion. Del Rio, he'll probably be back. Paige, probably not, but I would hate to see Paige go over Del Rio.
I think Paige has been completely mismanaged the last year.
Yeah,
I'd say longer than that.
Yeah. They did the right thing by her when she brought her in and pushed her hard, but the last year has just been like, at least the last, probably longer. Just come on.
I think the Total Divas show has kind of ruined it too, because she's been on the show.
Yeah,
and you have to. They kind of coincide the show with the actual matches and the storyline. They have like the women's wrestling segment of the show, then they have the Total Divas portion. So when she was mixed in with Total Divas, it kind of ruined everything, because now she's not a wrestler like a Sasha Banks. She is now just a girl on Total Divas, which sucked because she's much better than that.
Well, and the weird thing too is if you think about, she had some great matches with AJ.
Yeah.
Back when she started.
WrestleMania 31.
Yeah. She was kind of the transition from the Johnny Ace Divas, which was, let's go hire a shitload of Hawaiian Tropic models and have them wrestle.
Bra and panties matches.
And she was kind of, there was AJ who came up, through, she was in NXT, right? Or FCW before it was NXT.
Yeah.
So those two were kind of the transition. and AJ's not wrestling anymore, and we've got Paige doing this.
Yeah.
So they kind of didn't know what to do with her from the start, because what they did was they went out and hired a legit women's wrestler,
Yeah.
as opposed to, here's two twins
Yeah.
that their gimmick is you can tell them apart because one had a boob job.
By the breastises.
I still think she's one of the worst wrestlers I've ever seen in
There's
my
still
life.
She's a lot better than she used to be.
Yeah.
And she's a lot better than half the women's
Well,
roster still.
Yeah.
But
She's no Eva Marie.
But she's not in the same league as a Sasha.
No.
or Paige, for that
and
matter.
that's what bums me out is when Sasha finally came in, when you had the quote unquote women's revolution, like Paige should have been right there in it, and she was
Absolutely.
in the beginning. And then all of a sudden,
gone.
as soon as she, like you said, as soon as she was put into Total Divas, which I still really think that's going to be, kayfabe was already dying if it wasn't, 1 foot in the
Yeah.
grave. That show just shot it to shit.
It's
Left
just
it for
get-
dead
yeah.
in the middle of the road.
They should
getting worse.
have kept the real wrestler, the lady wrestlers off that show.
Yeah.
And kept them in the wrestling portion for women's wrestling on the show instead of mixing in like a Paige. Yeah, I love to see Paige in bikini all day long and seeing her half naked. Great. I love it. But, would it sacrifice her wrestling ability and wrestling a push? Sacrifice a push?
They should have just used her as an anti-diva.
Oh, yeah.
Like, absolutely.
Like she was.
Yeah, that's what she was in NXT. She was billed as the anti-diva, the pale, black-haired
Which
girl.
really didn't make a lot of sense because she was still really hot.
Everybody was
Yeah.
anti-diva.
Like, you want an anti-diva, that's Nia Jax.
Nia Jax.
That's an anti-diva.
She's a diva, though. She's
Oh,
not,
yeah,
she's
she
not
is.
like most girls, though.
Oh, God damn it.
She is definitely a diva, though.
Oh,
For
without a
sure.
doubt. Without a doubt. But getting to the other part of
She was
this,
more of a model. Sorry. But she was a model. Like, she's more of a
no, I've
model
seen
than
the
half the
pictures.
women
Yeah,
on
I
the...
Googled them.
Hey, I would crush it. Rusev Crush.
Yeah, whatever. When she doesn't have the half cornrow thing going
Machka.
on, she's
You'd
all right.
Machka?
That's all right.
Machka. Definitely Machka.
But getting to the other half of it, Del Rio, I'm surprised it took this long for everybody to realize he wasn't going to be sticking around. Before he was suspended, I was like, nope,
He's gone.
He's gone. He's a bad fit for what they want to do.
There's some news reports coming, news tidbits that he was going to be paired with Paul Heyman, and his return back in late October, and Zeb Coulter was here in Cleveland, talked about it. Even Zeb Coulter did not understand why Alberto Del Rio was going to be paired with Zeb Coulter.
Yeah.
From his return back to WWE. Yeah, it was great. Del Rio beat Cena for the U.S. title back in October at Hell in the Cell in L.A. But the whole pairing between Coulter and
It didn't make sense.
it just didn't. Yeah, it didn't make sense. But if Heyman was with Del Rio, and we've seen Heyman fail with Ryback, with Curtis Axel, those things didn't
Cesaro.
pan out. So it's not like as soon as Heyman's paired with somebody, it works. But do you think if he did with Del Rio, that would have worked a little bit?
No.
No, not at all.
And I like, there are two managers, well, three if you count Heenan, that I will mark out for all day, every day.
Yeah.
Okay? Cornette and Paul Heyman.
Yeah.
Paul Heyman, to me, if you get the right guy with him, that guy will be the biggest guy in the world. And I don't like Brock Lesnar, but if it wasn't for Paul Heyman, Brock Lesnar wouldn't be what he is as far as the WWE is concerned.
We saw CM Punk. He worked with CM Punk.
He was good with Punk,
Yeah.
which was weird because Punk didn't need him.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
It was all right with Cesaro, too.
Nah, it
Because
was.
Cesaro doesn't really, he's not a good talker.
But Cesaro's more talent than talk. So you'd put him in the ring and let him have a match, and he's fine. But what I was getting at is Del Rio, if they wanted him, I mean, there's no mistaking. If Rey Mysterio was still with the company, they never would have brought Alberto Del Rio back. They need a Hispanic superstar.
Yeah.
That's not a secret. They've been talking about it for years. They need a huge Hispanic babyface because they do a ton of business down there.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But he's not the guy. Like you can
not a
bring him out there.
babyface, though.
Well, he's not a babyface to begin with,
He's Mexico's greatest export, Michael.
but he doesn't. He's got charisma, but he doesn't have charisma to get over with a U.S. audience.
Right. Yeah.
It's
His
not the same
charisma
kind.
is heel.
He's a great heel, but you can't let him do an
You
interview.
know what he needed? He needed
No, see,
Ricardo.
like, that's-
he needed
He-
Ricardo.
that's what I was getting
He
at.
needed that.
He needed Ricardo
Yeah,
back.
he needed like his own little whole shtick worked.
He needed Bumblebee
it
Man
worked.
back.
It worked, and that's what made him effective when his first couple runs as champion. It worked, but now it's done. It's played out. I thought League of Nations kind of pumped it back into him a little bit. I enjoyed the League of Nations.
I think that
I enjoyed
buried
that
him even more. Him and Bennett, whatever you want to call him. That killed
Obviously, Sheamus and Rusev came out on top of that.
God, Sheamus is the worst.
He is. But yeah, it's Del Rio, but still he'll go AAA, Lucha Underground, maybe go down there.
He did say that there was an interview a couple months back. I don't know if you listened to any of the I don't want to whatever. MLW, those guys are real tight with Del Rio.
Yeah.
And they talked about how he was more than willing to go back to Lucha.
Yeah.
Which he would be perfect for Lucha. He would be perfect for it. He's not perfect for WWE.
Right.
And if they're gonna, the other flaw in the whole plan is you want to put Paige on Total Divas. She's dating Alberto Del Rio. So does that mean the next season of Total Divas is Paige and Del Rio?
That's would be awful. No one wants to see that.
Well, it's going to be awful. But if it's going to be the two of them, could that be part of the reason why they want to get rid of Del Rio? Part of the reason why they cut bait on it is, look, this is bad. This is bad TV.
That's why I try to split them. Split the.
It could be.
Yeah,
split them
Told
up.
you it's a money maker, man.
Yeah. Sure,
brand wise.
It's damn near unwatchable, but it's a moneymaker.
Yeah, and girls,
very
and ladies watch it, and
not looking forward to next season at all.
I haven't watched one episode, so
I've never watched an episode, but I know that my boy's going to be on it next season.
I was and I was in the background
out.
one episode. I was in the background.
Really?
Yes. You
Yeah.
can see me. I was not in focus though, but you can see. It's me.
That
I know
weird
it's
thing
me.
in the background there. That's
that
me.
blob in the background. That's me.
Really
In
quick
Cleveland.
about I like Del Rio. I've always liked Del Rio. I think he's a great worker. I think he's a fantastic heel. I think that his
Okay, Russo.
promos worked for me because I always thought they were smart and like he was so quick sometimes where it was just like I don't think anybody understood what he was getting at.
Right.
And I think that that's kind of what kills him is that his humor and his wit is so quick and dry that it just kind of falls that unless you catch,
I
that's,
think
I love it. I love when that guy gets to talk because the things he calls people, he throws it out so quickly. It's just like, I start giggling myself.
Yeah.
I'm like, this guy's great.
I enjoyed heel Del Rio, but he'll make his name known back in the indie scene very, very shortly. And
Sure.
Paige comes to Cleveland. I'll be swooning.
Oh God.
Little fact that Paige did shake her ass.
Is she coming a couple weeks for SmackDown? Is that a couple weeks?
Well, she's hurt, so she won't.
Yeah, she's not coming.
Yeah, she's hurt.
Didn't Lana replace her though on Divas?
Here's a weird thing to bring up. How do you suspend somebody that's out injured? Hey, you can't work for me, but you're not working for me for 30 days.
I mean, if you're not working and you're still a dick, you're suspended for your behavior. I mean,
yeah, but isn't that
what are they going to do?
Unnecessary?
Suspend you after you come back?
Yeah.
No, that's not. We can't do that.
That's like getting suspended when you're on vacation.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't work.
You could, if you're a dick on vacation.
You don't show up.
I'm a dick on every vacation.
Hey, if you go on vacation, then you show up at your store hammered.
Yeah.
Guess what? You're gonna get suspended.
You're gone. You gone.
I am kind of curious what they got busted for as far as wellness.
Yeah,
though.
we'll probably never know though.
Oh, I'm sure.
Spanish
we'll know.
fly.
I'm gonna guess pot.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, which is dumb. but
Paige could probably be the little nose candy, but I wouldn't be surprised.
I don't think
I would bet Del Rio on that one more than Paige.
I would. There's stories about Paige. I can tell you off the air that you would make your mind blow out of your head. All right, let's moving on to the final little subject. Mick Foley tweeted out really quick.
Yeah.
A promo for TNA. He wanted to be a promo for a house show that he wanted to be in.
Right.
But he tweeted out a photo of TNA.
Attaboy.
He didn't delete it. He kept it
Yeah,
up. He owned it. But hey, a little promo by the Raw GM for TNA. Unbelievable.
I don't think. Whatever.
It's great.
He took a lot of chair shots, man. Whatever.
Yeah.
Just leave him alone.
There's nothing I could say about it.
Let him be. Dave Meltzer this past weekend was at Bola, which it's on my bucket list of wrestling. Going to Bola for a weekend would be absolutely nuts and crazy, and I would love it.
Oh, the list of people they had was just insane.
Every year
this
is phenomenal.
Yeah.
That's a 3-day event in LA would just be great. But Meltzer lives in San Jose, which is a short drive for him down to LA. And there was photos of Meltzer looking jacked.
Yeah.
And he talked about it. He's very open about his physique, saying, "Oh, it was a shirt." You know, the way the shirt was on me, and he works on he works out during Raw, during the commercial breaks, and he watches Raw, works out during the breaks. So that's when he gets his work done, and works out once a day, I guess. But he has better abs than Johnny Mundo, which Johnny Mundo is known for his abs.
Yeah,
he's surprising.
Johnny Mundo's a beast.
So Meltzer was bragging about on the show the other day that he has better abs than Mundo. But Mundo is what, in his 30s? Meltzer's in late 50s.
Yeah,
that guy's in phenomenal
close,
shape
yeah.
for me. I hope I look like that. I won't, but
Well,
I wish I would look like that when I'm in my 50s.
my way there.
just be glad that he's not an official employee of the WWE, or else
You could
there might be a 30-day wellness policy violation there.
Test that
He got
man.
Then again, he would just be part-time, so he'd be
Yep,
He would
it's a
be-
different story.
Yeah.
immune from that test.
All
But
right.
yeah, he was looking
Yeah, Jack.
damn, man. I mean, he's wow.
Looks good.
And seeing all the people trolling him all day
Yeah.
on Twitter, it's like, you know what that guy looks like? I wouldn't do that.
No.
Nope.
Meltzer comes at you.
Yes, sir, Mr. Meltzer. Thank you, thank you, sir, Mr. Meltzer. Yeah, he was.
Yeah, jacked. All right, make sure to go to the website. This is AwesomeWrestlingShow.com. Our shows are posted on there. News tidbits, everything you need for the show is on the website. Facebook and Twitter as well. Thank you to Ryan and Greg for coming in.
Yeah, man.
Thanks for having us. This
Thanks
is
for
great.
having us.
Where can they catch the Miserable Cleveland podcast?
Miserable Cleveland on Facebook. That's and Twitter and stuff that you can find. Just Google Unmiserable Cleveland, you'll find us.
We are everywhere at once.
There you go.
And nowhere.
Steve will be back next week. We will have a show.
Just kidding, I'm Steve. Hey,
For me to boo him
Steve.
mercilessly,
Yeah,
like I do with every
boo.
I am not
Steve
nearly
guy.
as handsome as Steve.
So that means Steve Guy will not be ring announcing on Friday. I will be there doing commentary for AIW. If you are there, make sure to say hello, stop by. We won't have any T-shirts to sell because Steve has them at his house, but we will have
a
some for
jerk.
We will have some.
Enjoy that pina colada, Steve.
Boo, Steve Guy.
We
Boo.
will have some for sale at our live taping, episode 100. We'll have some of the more Guy ones and some of the Logan ones as well. And we'll talk to you guys next week for episode number 99 2/3. On our way to episode 100. See ya.